Sometimes decisions are very difficult to make. I think we can all agree with that, right? And sometimes we use the phrase lose-lose. Oh, this situation, there's no winning or whatever. But oftentimes, even when we say that, it's number one, a hard decision to make, and we don't want to make that decision. And it also won't immediately benefit us as far as put a smile on our faces or make us happy. But whatever kind of decisions we make, I think it's important to understand that we as believers have an obligation with the Spirit within us to decipher and filter things through the fruit of the Spirit, right? So if we are interacting with someone or have a relationship or have a big decision to make or hey, let's look at this scenario. If it's something we feel like I believe God is speaking into my spirit, and we don't know whether it's us or God speaking. Well, here's a good measuring stick for that. Does it produce the fruit? Is the eventual result, and sometimes we don't know until after it happens, but is that result producing the fruit of the Spirit? And let's talk about the fruit of the Spirit here for a second. Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control." Some of those words we know pretty easily. Love, joy, peace. We got those. Forbearance. Does it produce patience within us? Does it mature us in our relationship? But the interesting thing is that when we're dealing with the fruit of the Spirit, we're not just dealing with an inward, like, hey, it'll make me feel better or it'll make me better. What we're actually talking about here is something a little bit different, in that it produces this all around us as well. So the decision I make, is it producing forbearance? Is it producing kindness? Is it producing goodness, faithfulness? Does it exemplify these things? If it does, that is another piece of evidence to say, well, that was God-breathed and not just based on our own inklings, if you will. So I think it's important for us to understand that today. So when we are making decisions, when we are in the midst of relationships, when we're trying to figure out what next step to take, does it line up with this criteria? And sometimes we will try to force it because I can see an immediate value for me. We say, oh, it must be a God thing. Or I want it. It must be God speaking it. We've got to get out of that mentality. It's very unhealthy for our spirit, for our spiritual lives. And measure today based on the fruit. There you go. Have a great week.